the output goes. He said the cap was still kind of wiggling back and forth, and he wasn't getting a proper amount of drive on 3885. So I remember, in past dealing with that some people had problems with the sense diodes that were used for feedback. So I suggested that to them, and those tantalum capacitors, there's only a couple of those bypass capacitors, but they have to be changed. And I can get to mine again almost. It's within reach. So I'd like to put that back together. I've had a place for it here under the table for quite some time. And the R392 is sitting here, but I got to put the T195 back together. We all know, it's a huge radio, so. Oh well. Neat thing when it's working. Just keeping it working seems to be the trick. Now, mine worked for many years, and then it crapped out. And I think it was just the power supply voltage. And once I figured that out, I had the thing apart, and the story goes on. It's always something. Let's see. So, Ted, I'm going to try to turn it to Jerry again. I don't think he checked out. I think he's still around. So he's in the order here. So let me turn it to Jerry. And Jerry, if Jerry doesn't pick it up, Brown, you go ahead. K0VUW. VUW, this is KD3HT, over.
Hey, everybody know that. Over.
No, I called him last round. He didn't come back. Steve. So guys checked in here. So let's go on. We have W1NZR, VY2WW, W3MMR, and K3HVG. Brown, up to you. W1NZR, W3PWW, and then give it to John. VY2WW. Over.
Okay, Ted. Dale is in there as well, so maybe Jeep can hand it over to him. Good morning to the recent joiners. It's W1NZR in Rhode Island, and
I'd like 2 meters to me
for a change, and listening on RAS2, and the RF switch has been thrown. Chris, you were full quieting that time, and I started listening about an hour ago. And Glentron had said, I think it was, finally retired, so good for you. Maybe someday I'll do that. I don't know. Not going to be retiring. It's looking pretty good. I've been following some progress this past week. There are advantages to not being employed. Glentron, yes. I know I have 2 mounts. I'm thinking I have 3, in which case I do have a definite excess, but I have multiple GRC-19 sets. A man can't have enough of those. And I'd like to make them complete so I can move them on at some point here. But I will get to that in the next day or 2. And if it works out that Ted's can be of use, then I will pick it up at Gilbert. So I don't mean to stall and keep your friend waiting. But yeah, we'll sort it out. And yeah, back on the travel route. So I should be around for about a week. So I should be able to figure that out. Again, I apologize for dragging my feet a little bit on that. Out on the the other coast, I did stumble across a very nice find. Actually, I was at a California Ham Fest back in February, and a fellow cuckoo clock who, as an accumulationist, stumbled across a TSC 115, which is a Collins-built mid-60s set based on the URG-1 series of radios, the radio group. And I have a number of pieces for that, largest of which is the TRC 136, which is the shelter-mounted version. And this TRC 115, as far as I know, was actually built for the Saudis, and they built it into an S-144 shelter, which is the same shelter that houses a GRC-19 and comprises the GRC-46. I have one of those too, and that's meant to sit in the back of an M37. Now, why the Saudis wanted this, I'm not really sure, but because it is a bit more compact. But anyway, this fellow managed to stumble across one, and it came out of McClellan Air Force Base probably 15 or more years ago, and anyway, the fellow let it go for the right price. He's actually smarter than me. He said, I know I'll never get to this, but maybe you will. So I do have enough. It's about 85% complete. And so I'm starting on that project. We'll see. It'll take me a few months to massage it back together. But that's my latest radio insanity. So let's see. Let's send it up to Prince Edward Island. John, good morning to you. Very, very nice signal into Rhode Island this morning. As almost always, you put in just a great signal. And great to hear you. And up to you. DY2WW. That's it. W1NZR. Go ahead.
You're under. Thank you. W1NZR in the military radio there. DY2WW. Yep. Coming in real well, Brown, and 10 to 15 over, and looks like everyone gets checked in, I've heard. Good signals from Perry and Jeep as well. And I haven't had to use the W1QAX machine yet. I haven't had to. Guys are coming in real well to that too. I've got it over here with the volume down on the other computer. And let's see. To answer the question that I got there, Chris, no, I'm not running a kilowatt of carrier. My Alpha definitely would hard fault with that. But I am running a kilowatt of AM, at least according to my best interpretation of Western Canada rules, which are rather convoluted for AM calculation. Let's see what I'm doing. I'll actually... Okay. Okay, well, if I get it flat in here, the 200 Power Star software says I'm putting out 13 watts of AM. And when I'm quiet, the Alpha says just about 300 watts a carrier. And it has a peak reading LED type output meter which bounces up. It's kind of odd, but it's bouncing up to a kilowatt on some of the voice speeds and just maybe a hair over. So that's what I mean when I say I'm running a kilowatt. I kind of monitor the air stack, the temperature over the 3CX800s. I don't want to, giving it 300 watts of continuous carrier and modulating it up to 10,000 watts or more. It's a pretty strong duty cycle. The Alpha can handle it, but I don't try to get too long-winded. But that's what the situation is. I'm really looking forward to getting the boat anchors started this winter. A good friend of the family realized that I was a ham, and my wife was visiting them, and she brought back a beautiful R390A and a little Hallicraft X440. Which is a screen modulation controlled carrier rig. From the period when I was first getting used to the ham radio, and I dearly wanted a Night Kit P60 to go along with my 19R55A, which was my first receiver. I built it when I was 14 from a kit, and I couldn't afford the transmitter and didn't know how to get on the air, and I didn't know how to, so I never got it. So this little helicopter is a somewhat upscaled version of that little T-60. And a good friend has given me crystals for just about all the AM frequencies on this band, so I'm in good shape, but it needs some work. It's got a nice carrier, but the modulation circuit needs work, so I'm going to do the modifications that Phil published, AC0 Oscar Bravo. I think they make the most sense, and someone else may have some more ideas that are even further better to make it right. But I'm going to get that little stream modulator right up, and if I have to, I'll T&W load with it to get the power level around 14 watts. We'll see how that works. But, about 13, 14 watts a drive is a kilowatt. You can help that. Looking forward to getting that H240 on the air with all the modifications that Phil has published, including power supply and speaker amplifier, modulator, negative voltage supply, and a couple other little odds and ends. But that's a winter project, man, with getting the R388 up to snuff. And it's in good shape. It works, sort of, kind of, but it needs a little bit of alignment, and I need to go through it and replace the depth capacitors and so forth. So hopefully that'll be a really good winter project, and we'll get on the air sometime this winter with the old 1950s/1960s rig that corresponds to my beginning of interest in the hobby. Anyway, nice signals all around. I didn't mean to go old buzzard. I think I'm going to get out here. And I believe, let's see, where did I send it? M1SNG. And it goes from there. So M1SNG, I think hopefully you can hear me. This is VY2WW on the Old Milrad radio.
Okay, John, we're going to pick up these other stations first. Be W3MMR, K3HVG, and KW1I. Bring them back to net control. W3MMR, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. W3MMR on the old military radio net. Excuse me, W3PWW, this is W3MMR. Still trying to get moving here. I'll keep it short because I know I got a bunch of guys that just checked in and keep things moving along here. And maybe I'll make another one next go around. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, John up in Prince Edward Island. Great conditions this morning down here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Everybody's booming in. No web SDR usage this morning, which is great. So conditions seem to be slowly improving for the net here in the last few weeks. Let's hope the pattern continues. But big signal down this way, Ted, 35 over. Steve, KD3HT, you're 30 to 35 over. John, VY2WW, your uppers 10 to 15 over. And the story continues for everyone else. And just here on the SDR this morning on the Anon, the DX100 is still warming up over there. So maybe next go around we'll hop over to the old bucket of bolts. But anyway, just want to jump in here and say good morning. We'll keep it moving along. I'll send it over to you, Jeep. Good morning to you. Big signal as well. And we'll keep things moving along. Good morning, everyone. K3HVG, the old military radio net. W3MMR.
W3NMR and the old military radio net. K3HVG in Frederick/Monrovia, Maryland. I am on the commercial gear out of convenience this morning. I'm a bit late getting down here. XYL has a soiree this morning with her group, and that's taken up a tremendous amount of time. We didn't pack it until about midnight last night. Anyway, I concur with Steve's comment, and by the way, everybody's coming through pretty well. Ted, you are, as you were years ago, about 40 over at this moment. I have one comment, nobody else mentioned it, so maybe it's just me. Brown, at one point your carrier was 20 over 9 on the 1000D here, but the audio seemed to trail off at times to almost nothing, as if you were turning your head away from the mic or something like that. So that's my observation from this end. It may be totally erroneous. But anyway, back to Steve's comment on the T195s. Yeah, those matched diodes, there's two pair of them as I recall. And I bought a quantity from Mauser of a suitable substitute. If you look very closely at the TM, it talks about time changing them after so many hours, and I don't recall what that number was, but it was very curious that they would actually point out these components as time change. A bit unusual. But the T195, the servo system can be problematic. And if you look at the nomenclature plate on T195A, they even talk about the voltage. Normally they say, 24 volts or 26.5. I think the nomenclature plate says 28.5. So I found that using the PP4763, I had to bump the voltage up to about 28.5, and on one of my T195s, the servo was quite slow. Got it impulsed with a higher input voltage. The other one seemed to work fine. It was one that had come out of Letterkenny, I guess. But anyway, the servo system in them is not, they can cause issues, and bumping the voltage up was what helped the one. So that's the deal there, Ted. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and the rest of some of the group down in Bowieville. I'm taking a few things down, and we'll see how that plays out. I hope the weather holds. Talking that it was going to be sunny all day, and it moved to chance of, and back to sunny, and now it's 30% chance of precip in the afternoon, so any kind of luck at all. Let's see. Dale, up to you. KW1I and the old military radio net, K3 HVG. Go ahead.
Okay, K3 HVG and the old military radio net. This is KW1I. We're on the Meisner 150B this morning. We have family visiting, and so I didn't want to turn anything on with exhaust fans that might get into those little ears and cause the young ones to get up a little too early. Earlier this week, my son came in from Florida. His birthday on Thursday, and we have the two granddaughters and grandson. We were at the ocean yesterday. Very nice. Actually got into the cold water. Signals are good. Because of the unusual sleeping arrangements up here, I found that I was sleeping right in front of the I think it's late 30s RCA console radio that I have. And when I woke up this morning, I put it on 3885 and just in the bunk there, and it was so great listening to that old console radio on AM that I didn't get out. I didn't get up and get down in the shack. But I did to you, Ted, and Glenn, and to Chris. Congratulations again, Chris. I enjoyed hearing you coming around the roundabout and having the promptings to turn back into work. And let's see, Jeep, you're coming in good. Steve's coming in good. I've heard everybody pretty good this morning, but not all at the same time. Conditions have changed. By the way, I did want to mention that Larry N1PHV's equipment is, I went over to her after the Ware Rally And fired up his GRC 106 setup with the PP4763. Worked very well. That's available. And also his T195 R392 setup, GRC 19, the setup is available. So contact me if you want me to connect you up to the XYL up there, and I'd love to see those things find a friendly home. Let's see, I wanted to mention this is the first Saturday of the month, so the MMRCG group on 7296 at 10 o'clock Eastern. For air conditions, it's fun. It's on AM the first Saturday of the month. Otherwise, the Midwest Military Radio Collectors Group is on sideband on 7296 on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. So it's AM this morning, so you might leave the filaments on. Anyway, back to you, Ted, from nice and warm and green Bow, New Hampshire. W3PWW and the Old Military Radio Net. This is KW1I.
Okay, Dale, very good. KW1I, W3PWW, and the Old Military Radio Net. Very good. Jeep monster signal up here this morning. Perry, also very strong, and as well as you, Dale. So conditions are good this morning. This has been a real pleasure so far. We've had good conditions from the start and been able to copy everybody that's checked in. So very good. Okay, stand by for more check-ins. Anyone else out there for the Old Military Radio Net, please call now.
WB3CTC. WA1JUJ.
Okay, I have WB3CTC and WA1JUJ. Anyone else, over? Okay, let me pick those two stations up, then we'll go back up to the top. Mike, up to you, WB3CTC, and then it goes to WA1JUJ. Then we'll pass it back up to Glenn, N1SNG. Mike, go ahead, WB3CTC, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Ted. Man, this is the best conditions I've heard in a while. You're just barreling in here, and so's just about everybody else. And the surprising, well, I think what surprises me more than the propagation is there's not much lightning static on there. Yeah, real good conditions today, that's for sure. I just thought I'd check in and say hi. I'm going to make this my final. I got some stuff to do, and we're going to take off here. And hope you and Jeep have fun down in Berryville tomorrow. Ted, so over to WA1JUJ and the Old Military Radio Net. This is WB3CTC.
WA1JUJ. Okay, fine, Mike. Very good signal here in Western Mass. Name is Kevin. We're on the GRC 19 this morning. Just got home last night. I've been away on business, so I haven't had a chance to do anything. So I have to get so long today. Have to concur with Jeep about the power, the T195. I used to have problems when I was using my old 4763s. I had some trouble maintaining the voltage. This new all-voltage HPV8474, I'm keeping right at about 29 volts, and it's working quite well. And I know one of the problems when the voltage starts to dip is I lose control of the band selector. When it's changing bands, it doesn't end up where it should. So I know you have to be careful with the voltage. Good signals in western Massachusetts this morning. Hearing everybody quite well. Listened a little bit earlier. Had some problems, but everybody's coming in great now. So I'll send it back up to you, Ted. W3PWW from WA1JUJ.
Okay, very good. Nice signal. this morning into southern PA. Okay, one more standby before we go on top. Anyone out there for that, please call now. Nothing heard. Back up to the top of the N1SNG, AJ1G, KD3HT, W1NZR, W3MMR, K3HVG, KW1I, and then back to WA1JUJ again. Oh, I know the station I most say. It's the W1NZR. It's Charles, VY2WW. So it's N1SNG, AJ1J, KD3HT, W1NZR, VY2WW, W3MMR, K3HVG, KW1I, WA1JUJ. N1SNG, W3PWW, internet. Go ahead.
W3PWW from N1SNG. Got some high SWR here. Let me just calibrate this attachment here. Okay, that looks pretty good. 1.7. All right. Well, I'll tell you, we're high fidelity right now. All signals coming in very nicely. And Dale, the Meisner, what a powerhouse. Just, when you key up there, it kind of goes quiet, and then your voice comes through there, and it's like you're right in the room here with me. So that rig does a beautiful job. Power and audio. Very, very nice. And yeah, fine on the romance with the RCA console radio. Doesn't that kind of put you in the mode there, and the dials and a little bit of antiquity listening to that rig. I remember one night I had the BC348 on, and I was tuning around, and I came across this station. They were playing some old Glenn Miller music, and it kind of took me away, figuring, well, there's probably some guys out there years and years ago in the field or somewhere, and tuning around on their BC348s and listening to the great Glenn Miller there. So I understand that, just kind of having a moment, and a nice piece of equipment that you do have there, Dale. And Brown, yeah, no hurry on that. Just trying to round up some resources, and appreciate all your efforts. And I know you're busy, and don't let it interfere with any other activities here. It's just if it does happen, it does. Much appreciated everyone's efforts when we need to call up some of these pieces of equipment. That's for sure. And I was online a few days ago, and I was somehow or another I ended up exploring the R390A, and I went to the images site, and I came across it was like a field of R390As on pallets, and there was a particular name for it, some site or just an event that took place, something about maybe that all the meters were taken out or something, and the covers were missing, but just pallet after pallet of R390As. So I wonder if anybody has any input on that. And then, like I said, the name escapes me of that particular pile, and on the date. So very interesting on that. And very good morning to Mike, WB3CTC, if you're still there, and of course Kevin, WA1JUJ. A nice signal this morning into Rhode Island, and of course Perry, beautiful signal this morning, Perry. Jeep, just like I said, everyone's high fidelity. So with that, over to you, Chris, and great net this morning, Ted. AJ1G and 1SNG.
N1SNG and the old military radio net, AJ1G. Well, brilliant signals now. Good morning to Dale. Kevin, GRC19 sounds good. Brown, you're very strong. Dale, the Meisner is sounding very good. And yeah, Dale, I'm enjoying my first, I guess this is my first full day of retirement. I don't know if, does retirement start on a weekend if you retire on a Friday, or does it start on a Monday? So it's still kind of sinking in. But yeah, no more postponements, no, it's all done. And just have to get used to it. Looking forward to it. I played 5 o'clock somewhere and sang along with it all the way home last night. So had a great evening. Lots of fun. So let's see what else. Yeah, my T195 has got, I think I've got bad the servo driver diodes, servo motor driver diodes, or whatever they are, that sense of tuning. The thing will not tune anymore, and it's been kind of just sitting on the bench here. Another project to get going. And Dale, now I have no excuse to not get the TCMs on the air now. And I say TCMs because I have actually 2 of them now, and the ones I got from Steve down in eastern Pennsylvania there. And that was 15 years ago. I remember it was 2004. I picked up the second TCM and the power, more importantly, the power supply that goes with it. And the plan would be here to have both TCM set up and show a power supply and some sort of switching arrangement. So, got to get to work on something different than what I've been doing for 45 years. And I still haven't made my coffee, so I'm going to go turn it over to Steve, and then here, KD3HT and the Old Milrad Radio Net, AJ1G.
Okay, and AJ1G, hearing you fine now, Chris. KD3HT. Yeah, very good, good signals from everyone. And the Meisner pair are sounding good. And yeah, Brown, I sent Brown a message about the little bit of cracklies with his audio, and I think he missed a couple of words, but not much more than that. So very good on picking that up too, as well, Jeep. A little impact tuning on the carbonium microphonium, where the reinsertion of the connector a few times cleaned things up there in radio 2. And yours sounds very good, Dale, and okay on the broadcast rig, being able to tune in the melodious tones of 3885. And congratulations, Chris. That's the first. I didn't hear you before, so I didn't mention it, but there you go. You're done. Time to move forward. Wish I could say that. But we've been throwing out a lot of resumes, and nothing yet, but always happens quickly. And one day nothing, the next day everything. And Mike, sorry we won't be seeing you down at Berryville, but sounds like you have some nice plans, so you're sounding good up here. Good strong signal. Same thing with you, Chief. Very strong, and be good to see you tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be there bright and early. Probably not bushy-tailed, but definitely bright and early. Head out of here probably around noon today. See how my body is, and if I can get the car loaded up. I actually still have radios in the car that I picked up in New York, and one locally that I have to take out and then add others in. So, it's always fun, but trying to make some room. So hopefully be able to move some stuff on to new owners so that I can can take some of the stuff out of this room and make more room up here and less room downstairs. Let's see, what else has been going on? I did move my TCK and open that up. Saw some mods that I didn't notice before, so that's going to need a thorough going over in order to get that going. And at least I have it in a place now where I can see it. And hopefully the T350 will sit in right next to it. That's another project to get that out of the basement and up here. And everything is pretty much around the edges of the wall, so it's where the support is, but I'm still going to throw in, I think, a couple of support beams or vertical supports underneath the floor here. We've got a lot of weight in the stacks here, and the 2x10 seem to be holding out just fine. Yeah, Kevin, on mine, but you know, that was my problem. I really had the voltage too low, and fortunately I started taking it apart before I really recognized what was going on. And I have to kind of get it realigned to put it back together. So my patience, you know, is the problem, that I'm going to have to sit there enough to make sure everything's in the right place before I put the RF deck back in. That's the alignment problem I was when I... Okay, let me turn it over. And let's see, I guess it goes to you, Brown, and W1NZR, 33HT, over.
Okay, Steve, very good. KD3HT in the assembled military mass from W1NZR. And little impact tuning on the carbon microphone here. And Jeep, thanks for that. I have to remember that I am up in Radio 2, and I am using an ancient, Shure mobile mic on the Meisner. I'm not down in Radio Central with the ecstatic and a little bit of audio processing where I can hold the thing away from me. So that's why I think my modulation had dropped off to nothing. But this mic I've had for many, many, many years. Dale always complimented me on how good it sounded, because I dragged it around when I was a little more active with the museum ships, and I would always have this mic with me, and I'd plug it in to just about any set I was using, and it always sounded good. So I've gotten good reports with this, so I hope that it's a little better now. I just have to remember to close talk it a little bit and keep it going that way. So again, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Kevin. GRC 19 sounding good down here. I've had power supply failure from multiple sources, so that's why I haven't fired up my GRC 46 shelter-mounted 19 set in a while. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to that in the next week or so. I'd like to. Ted, sitting here in between conversations, I dragged out the 669 crystal set and noticed that there is a 3540 crystal for the receiver. It's actually for a 3155 with the 455 KC offset, but could be used for transmit. So maybe if we have to move down the band a little bit, that'd be a good thing. Anyway, Glentron, you mentioned a picture of a number of 390s on pallets, and you're referring to the unfortunately infamous St. Julian's Creek massacre, as it's referred to. There were the remnant R390As and R390s from Navy and probably some of the other armed forces ended up in outside storage at St. Julian's Creek, Virginia. And most of them had spray paint across their faces, and a number of guys ended up with these. I have a few of them, fair rating radio ended up with a number. I think George K1ANX ended up with 30 or 40 or more of them. And there were literally hundreds. I forget the total number. And that was, I don't know, like 10 or 15 years ago now that those were dispersed. So, of course, that ended up as scrappers, but quite a few were restored. And there were other models in there. There was the R725 models were there. I ended up with one of those fairly recently. That's an R390A that has an R390 LC circuit IF deck in it for primarily for direction finding purposes. So, yeah, that was a set of famous photographs. And Chris, again, you're coming in very nicely. And the PCMs, I remember I had one of those, one of the best metered radios that the military ever had, but a real beast. I actually had that up here in Radio 2 for a while. But I moved that on. I can't remember who got that, but you need to get yours on the air. And Dale, again, good morning to you. I owe you an apology. I know you'd sent an email early last week for the Ware Rally for communication purposes, but I was fairly busy out in California, so that's my excuse. And I'm sorry I missed it. I heard from Paul Bergeron that it was a really good rally this year. So once again, I'm sorry I missed it. Just seems to be Sussex and that event. I'm just busy with work, so that's the way it goes. Anyway, we'll keep it moving on here. I think that John has checked out, but I'm going to pass it up to him, and if he doesn't, W3NMR can pick it up. Jerry, you're sounding very, very good this morning. So VY2WW to take it if you're there, John. Otherwise, down to W3NMR. This is W1NZR and the Milrad net.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. I'm glad. I mean, somebody's hearing me. We're coming up on 2 hours after sunrise here. Well, it's unusual for everyone to still be 2.5 in here, but I'm copying all stations very well. Since my last transmit, let's see, we had a couple of guys join KW1I 10 over 9, great copy. WB3CDC or 59 might, that's a copy, and I listened to WLN's AUJ on the 4AX machine. This was a little bit under the noise conditions here at the time, so anyway, very good. I'm going to make this my final, and nice. The conditions are getting better every weekend as we move toward the fall, and it's starting to be noticeably shorter days here in the island. And every day we lose 2 to 3 minutes of daylight, so that's a good thing. Although the weather has been gorgeous this summer, and it started late, but it's been beautiful, and I'm headed back to the beach again today. The low 70s and the beach go well together for me. So I'll say 73 to all and pass it along to, I believe I'm supposed to send it to Mike Radio. And from there to Jeep and on down the list, but I want to sound clear. Thanks again, Ted, for having the net W3MMR and the Old Milrad radio net,
W1VWW in the Old Military Radio net. This is W3MMR. All right, John. 73 to you. Starting to fade into the abyss slightly, but still no problem copying you. So yeah, really 3 thumbs up. If I had 3 thumbs, I'd put them all up for the conditions this morning. But I can only put 2 up, so well, that'll have to suffice. But anyway, just wanted to make this. I'm actually just going to make this my last as well. Just want to say congratulations to you, Chris, on the retirement, AJ1G. Enjoy it, my friend. You deserve it. And I'm sure it'll take a little while to sink in. But you'll definitely it'll definitely sink in, and you'll definitely be enjoying it. That's for sure. So soak it up, man. You deserve it. Like I said, congratulations. And now you can get some stuff done around the house, and the old lady will be cracking the whip, and the honey-do list will be twice as long now. Anyway, everybody's still bombing in here this morning. I'm really happy to see the conditions are starting to turn around for the net here the past few weeks as we near the last third of summer here and get into the fall months, which can't come fast enough. I'm tired of working in this heat. Gotta go to work today, but don't have a full day, so in and out and get back here and then head to the Phillies game tomorrow. I've got a friend of mine got some tickets from work for right behind home plate. Diamond Club tickets, so I'm pretty pumped about that. That should be a good time. And anyway, we'll keep things moving along here. 73 to everybody. Everybody sounded great this morning. And we'll talk to you guys again next week. Over to you, Jeep. K3HVG to take it. W3 MMR. 73, guys.
W1 VTP.
For VTP, stand by.
Let me take it, Ted.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeep.
Okay, W3 MMR. W3 PWW and the Old Military Radio net K3HVG. Okay, well, very good. And I guess I forgot to mention my congratulations also on your retirement there. Anyway, that's interesting. I still get up every morning at 5 o'clock or quarter of 5. Get settled up on the work with a colleague of mine. He ran the Barometric Standards Laboratory for the Weather Service. And so there's no rest for the weary. I sometimes regret not doing the revolving door, but you know, after 42 years in the Fed, that was enough. And when you look around and you don't know anybody, and you know, when I came there, I was a kid on the block. When I left, I wasn't the kid on the block anymore. Strange how that happens, but there we were. So anyway, enjoy the time. I tell myself I deserve it. I hope to God that I do. I believe so. Maybe self-delusion, but anyway, there we go. So Ted, we'll see you as soon as you get here. I'll park away so you can pull up in the left-hand spot there and park, and we'll head on down. I'll be talking to Jim later on today. He'll give me a mud report. Where we'll be, it'll be high and dry. But on that inner circle, let's hope we don't have a quagmire there. The only other comment, you had the St. Julian's Creek massacre. That's very good, and you could remember that, Brian. I remember the pictures and the terrible event. People were calling their congressmen and all manner of stuff to have that stuff not crushed up or whatever. What a travesty. What a misguided travesty that was. Okay, with that, I will say good morning to all. Have a good Sunday and a good week coming up. KW1I and the Old Military Radio net, K3HVG. Over.
Good morning, KK1K.
Okay, K3HVG, and Dean come in there at the end. This is KW1I. A great net this morning. Thanks to John for the report up there in PEI. You've been coming in for over an hour here, just fine, so excellent. And Glenn, thanks for your glowing signal report on the Meisner this morning. And your wall to wall and treetop tall is WA1FOF used to say. Chris, we're probably hearing about progress on those projects that have been waiting decades, some of them anyway. Let's see, I got my list here. I wanted to mention the pay who did signal. Kevin, good to see you at the rally. And we're copying you good this morning. Al, good morning. And Ted, thanks for running the net. Steve, KD3HT, a great signal up here. And again, the MMRCG net this morning is on AM at 7296, first Saturday of the month. And start thinking about the MRCA meet at the end of September. Time to get your equipment ready for that. Your code speed, work on that a little bit. Might have some kind of a field event there with code. And Brown, okay, you're forgiven, but maybe somebody will get you back up to the rally. And Paul and his stuff was up there, and we had a great time at the rally. It was very successful this year. Downpour early in the week, but the camp out for the rest of the week, and also the actual public aspect of it, it worked out great. Many vendors, all the camping spots pretty well full. And we'll say 7-3s, and now Mike was right after me, but he might have been one and done there, Ted. So I'll turn it back to you just in case it should go to Mike instead of to Kevin. W3PWW. This is KW1I in New Hampshire.
Okay, Dale, very good.